My beloved sisters, every day is a new gift from Allah, a chance to rise higher than yesterday and to walk closer to Jannah. If we don't live with purpose, the days slip away, and we wonder why the heart feels empty. But when we live with daily habits rooted in faith, dignity, and discipline, we unlock peace, strength, and true success. Let us reflect on 10 daily habits. Every woman must master habits that can transform not only your life, but the lives of those around you. Begin your day with Allah. There is no greater strength than rising before the world wakes, washing with wudu, and bowing before your Lord in Fajr. That moment fills your day with light, protection, and barakah. Guard your modesty and self-worth. Remember, true beauty is not in the eyes of people, but in the eyes of the Creator. Cover your dignity with pride, and walk with the honor that Allah has given you. Value your time. Every moment is either a treasure or a regret. Plan your day. Prioritize what pleases Allah, what nourishes your soul, and what benefits your family. Time wasted is life wasted. Keep your tongue pure. Words can heal and words can destroy. Master the habit of speaking only good. Avoid gossip, insults, and complaints. Replace them with words of encouragement, gratitude, and dua. Seek knowledge every day. A page of Quran, a lesson, an article, a reminder. Never let a day pass without learning something that brings you closer to wisdom. The heart that learns is the heart that grows. Strengthen family bonds. Even if it's a small gesture, a kind word to your parents, a smile to your spouse, or a hug to your child, these acts weigh heavy on the scale. Don't let pride or business block love from flowing in your home. Practice gratitude. When you wake up, say Alhamdulillah. When something goes wrong, say Alhamdulillah. Gratitude opens doors of mercy you never imagined. Patience with gratitude is the shield of the believer. A servant give. Even if all you have is a smile, give it. A small coin, a helping hand, a kind message. Allah loves those who serve His creation. Care for your body and mind. Eat well, rest well, stay clean, stay balanced. A tired, neglected body will not carry you far. Caring for yourself is an act of worship when done with the right intention. End your day with Allah. Close your day as you began it with prayer, forgiveness, and dhikr. If the world betrayed you, remember, your Rabb never left you. My dear sisters, master these habits, not for the applause of people, but for the pleasure of Allah. Be the woman who wakes up with faith, walks with dignity, speaks with wisdom, gives with love, and sleeps with peace. Such a woman is not only successful in this world, but she will be welcomed with joy in the eternal home of Jannah. May Allah make you among those who shine with faith, spread goodness wherever they go, and find happiness in both worlds. When a believer opens their eyes at dawn, the very first thought should be, Alhamdulillah, Allah has given me life after death, and to Him is the final return. Beginning the day with Allah is not only about performing a ritual, it is about setting the tone for every single moment that follows. Imagine a person who wakes up without direction, immediately scrolling through their phone, consumed by notifications, rushing into the chaos of life. Their day is scattered before it even begins. But the one who begins with Allah rises with peace, with purpose, and with a sense of being anchored. This habit alone can transform the quality of your life in both worlds. The early hours of the morning carry a special blessing. The Prophet prayed that Allah place barakah in the early part of the day for his ummah. Those who captured those moments are the ones who experience productivity, clarity, and inner peace. Guided prayer is not just a duty, it is a shield. It protects you from harm, it strengthens your heart, and it fills your soul with light. When you stand in front of your Lord while the world sleeps, you are declaring through your actions, Ya Allah, you are more important to me than sleep, more important than comfort, and more beloved to me than the world itself. Can such a declaration go unnoticed by the one who is most merciful? Of course not. Allah honors the one who honors Him at the break of dawn. There is a unique power in beginning the day with remembrance. Before speaking to anyone, speak to Allah. Before complaining to the world, complain to Allah. Before writing your to-do list, bow your head and let your heart be filled with His words. Reciting even a few verses of the Quran in the early morning settles the heart in ways nothing else can. The Quran revealed at dawn feels different, it penetrates deeper, it heals faster, and it inspires more strongly. Allah Himself says that the recitation of Quran at Fajr is witnessed, meaning the angels gather to testify to that moment. Think about it, your private devotion is not hidden, it is celebrated in the heavens. The woman who begins her day with Allah finds that everything else falls into its rightful place. Her worries feel smaller because she has already handed them over to the one who controls all affairs. Her energy feels stronger because she draws from the source of all strength. Her decisions feel guided because her heart is lit by faith. She walks into her responsibilities, whether as a daughter, wife, mother, professional, or student, with a sense of calm that others notice but cannot explain. It is not coffee that fuels her, it is conviction. The habit of beginning with Allah also builds discipline. Waking up for Fajr requires effort. It requires planning your night, resisting distractions, and valuing your soul more than your comfort. And every day that you succeed, you are training your willpower. You are proving to yourself that you can put Allah above your desires. That same discipline will help you in other areas of life, resisting temptation, controlling your anger, managing your time, and pursuing your goals. The one who can conquer sleep for Allah can conquer anything in life. Some might say it is difficult, I keep missing it and not consistent. Remember that Allah sees your effort. He knows your struggles. Even if you wake up groggy, even if your recitation is short, even if your concentration wavers, the fact that you are trying matters immensely. Shaitan's goal is to make you give up altogether. But if you push yourself, even in small steps, you are victorious. Ask Allah sincerely to help you taste the sweetness of early worship, and you will find that over time, it becomes not a burden but a craving. The soul that has tasted the tranquility of Fajr cannot go back to the emptiness of sleeping through it. Beginning with Allah is also a shield against negativity. Many people start their day with stress, with social media, with bad news. Their minds are polluted before the day has even begun. But when you start with Dua, Dhikr and Quran, your heart becomes protected. You walk out of your home with an invisible armor. You are less likely to fall into despair, less likely to react with anger, less likely to be consumed by the chaos around you. Instead, you become a source of calm for others. People will wonder where your serenity comes from, and you will know it is from starting with Allah. Think also about the accountability of that first hour of your day. Life is nothing but a collection of days, and each day is a chance to either build your Jannah or waste it. If you surrender the first portion of your day to laziness or distraction, you have already surrendered a part of your life. But if you surrender it to Allah, you have secured a treasure that will accompany you in the grave and beyond. The angels record your deeds, and the first lines of that day's record will testify, the servant chose Allah at dawn. Wise sisters, never underestimate the habit of beginning with Allah. It is the seed from which all other habits grow. When you secure your Fajr, when you recite your morning adhkar, when you open the Quran before opening your phone, everything else becomes easier. Your patience increases, your gratitude deepens, your priorities shift. The one who starts with Allah finds herself ending with Allah as well, because the heart that is nurtured in the morning does not easily abandon its source of strength at night. So guard this habit with all your might. If you struggle, keep striving. If you fall, rise again. If you taste its sweetness, protect it like the rare treasure it is. A woman who begins her day with Allah is not ordinary, she is extraordinary. She walks with light, she speaks with wisdom, and she carries within her a strength that cannot be broken. Such a woman will never be defeated, because her day and her life here anchored in the remembrance of the one who never fails. One of the greatest treasures Allah has given a woman is her dignity. True dignity is not measured by how the world views you, but by how you guard the trust Allah placed within you. When we speak of modesty, people often reduce it to clothing alone, but in reality it is far deeper. Modesty is a way of life, a mindset, and a reflection of the heart. It is about knowing your worth, refusing to let anyone cheapen you, and holding firmly to the honor Allah gave you as a believing woman. In a world that constantly pressures women to expose, to compete, to display, and to seek validation from others, modesty is a shield that protects your soul from being dragged into emptiness. When a woman knows her worth in the eyes of her Creator, she no longer feels desperate for the approval of creation. She does not measure herself against filtered images, unrealistic standards, or fleeting compliments. Instead, she stands tall with confidence, knowing that the one who matters most all is watching her, and he is pleased when she protects her heart and body from being exploited. This self-worth is powerful. It frees you from the chains of comparison, from the fear of rejection, and from the endless cycle of trying to prove yourself to others. It turns you into a woman who is content, confident, and at peace. Modesty in behavior is as important as modesty in dress. A woman who guards her speech, her laughter, her glances, and her interactions is a woman who carries herself with respect. She does not need to be loud or excessive to be noticed. Her presence itself commands respect because it is enveloped in humility. People may forget what you were, but they will always remember how you carried yourself. And the woman who carries herself with modesty leaves behind a legacy of honor, not just for herself, but for her family and her community. Guarding modesty does not mean hiding your talents, silencing your voice, or suppressing your potential. Islam never came to suffocate women, it came to elevate them. You can be educated, skilled, and influential while still embodying modesty. The key is intention and balance. You shine not to gain attention, but to serve Allah. You use your abilities, not to impress, but to inspire. You contribute to society not by exposing yourself, but by enriching it with wisdom, compassion, and integrity. This is the true strength of a modest woman. She contributes to the world without compromising her values. The reality is, society often tells women the opposite. It teaches them that the more they reveal, the more admired they will be. That the louder they are, the more powerful they become. That their value lies in their appearance, not their character. But look closely, and you will see that this is a trap. A woman who seeks worth through appearance will always feel empty, because beauty fades, trends change, and people's opinions are fickle. But a woman who builds her worth on taqwa and modesty never loses, because what is built for Allah does not fade. Her value grows with every year, her beauty shines from within, and her respect only deepens. Guarding modesty also protects the heart from unnecessary pain. Many women lose themselves chasing attention, giving away pieces of their dignity in exchange for affection, and then realizing too late that what they thought was love was only exploitation. Modesty acts as a filter. It ensures that those who approach you do so with sincerity, not with shallow intentions. The woman who guards herself does not lower her standards for temporary pleasure. She waits for what is pure, lasting, and honorable. This is not weakness, it is strength. It is the strength of knowing that Allah will give you better than what you sacrifice for His sake. Modesty is not about perfection, but about striving. Every step you take to cover what Allah asked you to cover, every effort you make to restrain your speech, every moment you choose dignity over popularity, these are victories. And Allah sees them. Even if the world mocks you, even if fashion dismisses you, even if people misunderstand you, your reward is with the one who knows your struggle. Remember that paradise is not cheap. It requires sacrifice. And every act of modesty is a brick on the path that leads you there. There is also immense beauty in the fact that modesty empowers you privately, even when no one notices. It builds your self-respect. It makes you walk into a room without needing attention, yet people cannot help but notice the peace and confidence you radiate. It protects your heart from being broken by shallow judgments, and it makes you secure in knowing that your value is not up for debate. You do not need to sell yourself short to feel loved, because the love of Allah already fills the void that people chase in all the wrong places. At the end of the day, guarding modesty and self-worth is not about denying yourself joy or beauty. It is about protecting your soul from harm. It is about investing in a kind of beauty that never fades and a beauty that grows with faith, sincerity, and humility. When a woman masters this habit, she becomes unshakable. The trends may change, people may criticize, temptations may rise, but she remains steadfast. Because she knows that the one who holds her honor, her reputation, her future, and her soul is Allah, and to Him she entrusts her worth. Wise sisters, never let anyone define your value. Never let a passing trend strip you of the honor Allah gave you. Wear your modesty like a crown, not a burden. Carry yourself with dignity, knowing that you are more precious than pearls, more valuable than diamonds, because your worth is not measured by the eyes of men, but by the mercy of the Lord of the worlds. A woman who guards her modesty and self-worth is a woman who walks this earth with light, and when she returns to her Lord, she will be received with honor that no worldly praise could ever match. Time is the most precious gift after faith, yet it is the one thing people waste the most. Every day that passes is not just 24 hours gone, it is a piece of your life, a portion of your soul, and a step closer to your final meeting with Allah. A wise believer understands that time is not something to kill, but something to invest. When you learn to value and organize your time, you begin to live with purpose, clarity, and productivity. Every moment becomes meaningful, every task becomes an opportunity, and every day becomes a treasure that brings you closer to your ultimate goal, pleasing Allah and earning His Jannah. A woman who values her time understands that life is short. No one is promised tomorrow. How many people woke up yesterday and did not live to see today? How many dreams were left incomplete? How many goals unachieved? How many prayers unsaid? The reality of life is that our days are numbered, and once a day slips away, it never returns. When this truth settles in your heart, procrastination loses its hold over you. You realize that delaying good deeds, neglecting obligations, or drowning in distractions is a form of deception. Shaitan whispers, there is still time, while in reality, every moment that passes is one step closer to the end. Organizing time does not mean filling every second with work until exhaustion. It means knowing your priorities and giving each part of your life its rightful due. Your worship has its time, your family has its time, your body has its time, your mind has its time, and your rest has its time. Balance is key. The prophet was the most productive of men, yet he gave time to his family, time to his companions, and time to himself, all while fulfilling the greatest mission on earth. Following his example means creating structure in your day that allows you to fulfill your obligations, while nurturing your soul and maintaining peace. One of the most powerful ways to value time is to begin your day early. The morning hours carry a special barakah that cannot be found later in the day. Those who seize the early hours find that their tasks flow with ease, their minds are clearer, and their hearts are calmer. Sleeping away the morning is like throwing away treasures. The one who rises early, organizes her tasks, and begins with Allah carries a sense of victory into the rest of her day. Her heart is light, her mind is focused, and her body is energized. Another aspect of valuing time is to avoid what wastes it. Hours can vanish in idle scrolling, endless gossip, unnecessary arguments, and mindless entertainment. There is nothing wrong with moments of rest and joy, but when leisure becomes a thief of your life, it robs you silently. Ask yourself often, what will this moment testify for me on the day of judgment? Will it be a witness in my favor or against me? When you hold yourself accountable in this way, you become mindful of how you spend your time, and you begin to cut off the things that drain your life without giving you benefit. A woman who organizes her time also earns respect. People trust her because she respects her commitments. She becomes reliable in her work, consistent in her worship, and balanced in her responsibilities. Her children learn from her example, her family feels secure, and her community values her presence. Time management is not about squeezing more into your day, it is about aligning your day with what matters most. A woman who lives like this does not feel constantly rushed or overwhelmed because her life flows with rhythm, not chaos. Valuing time also requires learning to say no. Not every invitation deserves your presence, not every demand deserves your energy, and not every opportunity is worth pursuing. When you try to please everyone, you end up pleasing no one, least of all yourself. A wise woman filters her commitments through one question: will this bring me closer to Allah or take me further away? If the answer is closer, she gives it her best. If the answer is further, she steps back, no matter how glittering it looks. This focus protects her time and protects her heart. One of the greatest investments of time is in worship and remembrance. A few minutes of sincere dhikr can brighten an entire day. A short portion of current daily builds mountains of reward over the years. Even mundane tasks, cooking, cleaning, working, can become acts of worship if done with the intention of pleasing Allah. When you align your time with good intentions, nothing is wasted. Every action becomes sacred, every moment becomes meaningful. The believer's secret is not in having more hours than others, but in filling the same hours with purpose. Organizing your time also teaches you self-control. When you set schedules, when you discipline yourself to finish tasks on time, when you plan your day with intention, you train your soul to resist laziness. Laziness is one of the greatest enemies of progress. It kills dreams, weakens faith, and wastes life. By conquering laziness through structure, you strengthen your willpower in every area of life. This habit alone can distinguish between those who live aimlessly and those who live with legacy. At the end of the day, valuing time is valuing life. Each sunrise is a page added to your book of deeds, and each sunset is a page sealed forever. You decide what will be written. Will it be filled with worship, service, kindness, learning, and growth? Or will it be filled with distractions, arguments, and wasted moments? The choice is yours, and the outcome is eternal. The wise woman lives each day as though it could be her last, and in doing so, she lives fully, purposefully, and beautifully. So master the habit of organizing and valuing your time. Do not let the days slip away in heedlessness. Plan, prioritize, and purify your schedule. Give Allah the best of your hours, give your family their due share, give yourself moments of rest, and use the remainder to serve, learn, and grow. When you live like this, Your time will not just pass, it will build you into a woman of strength, dignity, and success in this world and everlasting joy in the next. The tongue is a small part of the body, yet it carries immense power. With just a few words, you can heal a broken heart, bring joy to someone in pain, and inspire others to goodness. With the same tongue, you can destroy relationships, wound deeply, and spread poison that lingers long after you have forgotten your words. The believer understands that every word spoken is recorded by the angels, and every syllable will either weigh for or against them on the day of judgment. To master the habit of keeping the tongue pure is to master one of the greatest keys to righteousness. When a woman guards her speech, she protects her dignity and her faith. She chooses silence over gossip, kindness over insults, truth over lies, and wisdom over mockery. Her words reflect the purity of her heart. If her heart is full of remembrance of Allah, her tongue will follow with goodness. But if her heart is heedless, her speech will slip into negativity. This is why it is so important to constantly purify not just the tongue, but also the heart that drives it. Gossip and backbiting are among the most destructive uses of the tongue. They may seem harmless in the moment, wrapped in casual conversation, but they eat away at the soul and ruin trust between people. A woman who restrains herself from gossip demonstrates strength, because it is easy to join in and difficult to stay quiet. By avoiding such speech, she safeguards her own record and refuses to carry the burden of others' sins. Instead of tearing others down, she looks for ways to uplift them, even when they are absent. This builds an atmosphere of respect and love that others are drawn to. Another way the tongue can harm is through constant complaining or negativity. It drains not only the speaker but also the listener. Complaints rarely solve problems, but they always spread heaviness. A pure tongue learns to replace complaints with gratitude and prayers. Instead of saying, "My life is miserable," the believer says, "Alhamdulillah, I have challenges, but I also have blessings." Instead of pouring out despair to people, she pours her heart out to Allah, the one who can actually change her situation. This habit transforms her outlook and strengthens her resilience. Kind words are a form of charity. A smile accompanied by a gentle greeting, a sincere compliment, or word of encouragement can shift someone's entire day. Often, we underestimate the impact of simple phrases like "I believe in you, may Allah bless you," or "I am here for you." These words cost nothing, yet they carry value beyond measure. A woman who fills her speech with such kindness becomes a source of light. People feel safe in her presence because they know her tongue will not harm them. She becomes a magnet for love and respect, not because of wealth or status, but because of the purity of her words. On the other hand, reckless words can leave scars that never fade. Harshness spoken in anger may be forgiven outwardly, but the memory lingers deep within. Many families and friendships have been broken not by physical harm but by careless words. This is why mastering the tongue requires self-control. Silence is often safer than speaking without thought. Every word should pass through a filter. Is it true? Is it kind? Is it necessary? If it fails these questions, it is better left unsaid. Silence, in many cases, is not weakness but wisdom. The tongue can also be used as a powerful tool of remembrance. Reciting Quran, making Dhikr, sending blessings upon the Prophet, and offering supplications are all ways to purify the tongue and, by extension, the heart. When you fill your mouth with Allah's remembrance, there is little room left for harmful speech. A woman who makes Dhikr frequently not only gains reward but also protects herself from idle talk. Her speech is purposeful, her presence uplifting, and her words healing. In moments of conflict, the tongue is tested the most. When anger rises, the temptation to lash out with hurtful words can be overwhelming. But the woman who restrains herself at that moment demonstrates true strength. She chooses silence or calm speech, knowing that once words are released, they cannot be taken back. By doing so, she prevents escalation, protects relationships, and earns immense reward with Allah. Controlling the tongue during anger is one of the greatest signs of maturity in faith. The purity of the tongue also reflects a person's relationship with Allah. When someone constantly lies, mocks, or uses foul language, it reveals a heedless heart. When someone constantly praises, encourages, and remembers Allah, it reveals a heart that is alive. This is why the tongue is often described as the mirror of the soul. If you want to know the state of your heart, listen to the words that flow from your lips. Every believer should remember that words are not just sounds, they are seeds. Whatever you plant will eventually grow. Plant words of love, and you will harvest trust. Plant words of wisdom, and you will harvest respect. Plant words of gratitude, and you will harvest peace. But plant words of malice, and you will harvest regret. You may forget what you said, but others may carry your words for years, either as comfort or as wounds. Keeping the tongue pure is not an easy task. It requires constant awareness, repentance when we slip, and effort to replace harmful habits with good ones. But the reward is immense. A tongue that remains pure brings peace to the heart, harmony to relationships, and blessings to life. It transforms ordinary conversations into acts of worship, ordinary greetings into bonds of love, and ordinary reminders into keys to paradise. So, my dear sisters, master the habit of guarding your speech. Use your tongue to remember Allah, to encourage others, to spread goodness, and to inspire hope. Protect it from gossip, insults, and lies. Let your words heal, not harm. A woman who purifies her tongue purifies her heart, and a purified heart is beloved to Allah. Such a woman carries beauty that goes beyond appearance, the beauty of a soul that shines through every word she speaks. Knowledge is one of the greatest treasures a believer can possess, because it is through knowledge that faith becomes clear, worship becomes meaningful, and life gains direction. Without knowledge, people stumble in darkness, confusing culture with religion, opinion with truth, and desire with guidance. But when a woman commits herself to nurturing knowledge every day, she elevates her soul, sharpens her mind, and strengthens her connection with Allah. Learning is not just about books or classrooms. It is about constantly seeking growth, reflection, and wisdom that brings you closer to your Creator and helps you live with purpose. Every day is a chance to learn something new, whether it is a verse of the Quran, a prophetic teaching, a life lesson, or even a practical skill that benefits yourself and others. Knowledge is like food for the soul. Just as the body weakens without nourishment, the heart weakens without learning. Many people spend hours feeding their bodies and decorating their homes, but neglect to feed their minds and souls. The result is an inner emptiness that no amount of worldly gain can fill. A wise woman knows that investing in knowledge is investing in herself, in her family, and in her future. There is immense dignity in a woman who learns. She is not easily deceived, because she can distinguish truth from falsehood. She is not easily swayed by trends, because her foundation is strong. She is not a blind follower, because she has insight rooted in understanding. Such a woman becomes a source of guidance for her children, a support for her spouse, and an inspiration for her community. Her presence carries weight because she speaks from a place of wisdom, not ignorance. This is why nurturing knowledge is not optional, it is a necessity for anyone who wishes to live with clarity and honor. Learning should never stop, no matter one's age or circumstance. Sometimes people believe education ends after school, but in reality, life itself is a classroom. Every conversation, every book, every lecture, every challenge can carry lessons if you approach it with the right mindset. A woman who seeks knowledge daily grows continuously, while the one who abandons learning stagnates and becomes trapped in the same cycle of mistakes. Even a few minutes of sincere study every day can transform a person over time. A page of Quran, a short reminder, or a meaningful reflection can leave an impact far greater than hours of heedless entertainment. A pursuit of knowledge also builds humility. The more you learn, the more you realize how little you know. This awareness prevents arrogance and opens the heart to continual growth. Ignorance breeds pride, because the ignorant think they know everything. But the seeker of knowledge remains humble, always thirsty for more, always aware that wisdom has no limits. Such humility is a mark of true greatness. It makes you gentle with others, patient in teaching, and respectful of different perspectives. Another beauty of nurturing knowledge is that it connects you with Allah through understanding. When you read the Quran without knowledge, the words may pass your lips but not touch your heart. But when you study the meanings, the context, and the wisdom, the verses suddenly come alive. They speak directly to your situation, your struggles, and your hopes. They guide you in ways you never imagined. Similarly, when you learn about the Prophet, his patience, his mercy, his strength, you gain role models to emulate in your own life. Knowledge turns faith from theory into practice, from ritual into relationship. Knowledge is also protection. Many people fall into harmful practices or misguided beliefs because they simply do not know better. When you learn, you protect yourself and your family from deception. You can stand firm when others waver, and you can give clarity when others are confused. This is especially important in a world full of misinformation and distractions. The woman who nurtures her knowledge becomes a pillar of strength for those around her. She does not simply follow the crowd, she leads with insight and wisdom. Even practical knowledge has immense value. Learning to manage finances, to raise children with wisdom, to cook healthfully, to communicate effectively. These are forms of knowledge that bring stability and ease into life. Islam never discouraged useful learning, rather, it encourages believers to excel in everything that benefits them and their communities. A woman who grows her knowledge in these areas becomes resourceful and capable, handling life's challenges with intelligence instead of panic. She becomes someone others rely on, not because she knows everything, but because she has cultivated the habit of learning and adapting. Nurturing knowledge is also an act of worship when done with the right intention. If you learn with the desire to please Allah, to serve your family better, to guide others, or to improve yourself for His sake, then every moment of study becomes an act of devotion. The angels surround gatherings of knowledge, and even a solitary learner who reads a page for the sake of Allah is honored. Knowledge pursued with sincerity becomes light in this world and light in the grave. It raises ranks, purifies intentions, and leads to action that benefits not only you but generations after you. At the heart of it, knowledge is not just about accumulating facts, but about transformation. True knowledge is that which changes your character, improves your worship, refines your manners, and strengthens your resolve. If what you learn does not translate into action, then it remains incomplete. But when learning transforms the heart, it becomes a powerful tool of change. A woman who nurtures her knowledge every day becomes someone who not only grows herself, but uplifts those around her. So nurture your knowledge as you nurture your health, your home, and your family. Dedicate a few minutes daily to read, reflect, and study. Surround yourself with reminders and people who encourage growth. Stay curious, stay humble, and stay connected to the sources of wisdom. Every day that you learn something new, you add another layer of strength, clarity, and beauty to your life. And remember, the journey of knowledge never ends. It carries you through this life with guidance, through the grave with light, and into the hereafter with honor. A woman who nurtures knowledge nurtures her soul, and a nurtured soul is one that walks firmly toward paradise. Family is one of the greatest blessings Allah has placed in our lives, yet it is also one of the greatest tests. The relationships we hold with our parents, our spouses, our children, and even our extended relatives shape not only our daily lives, but also our faith and our hereafter. Strengthening family bonds is not just a matter of love and culture, it is an act of worship, a duty that carries immense weight in Islam. Every kind word spoken to a parent, every act of patience with a spouse, every moment of nurturing a child is an investment that multiplies in reward. When a woman masters the habit of strengthening family ties, she becomes a pillar of stability, a source of comfort, and a builder of harmony in her home and beyond. The relationship with parents is the cornerstone of family life. No matter how independent or accomplished you become, your parents remain your doorway to blessings. Serving them with kindness, respecting their words, and praying for them is among the greatest acts of obedience to Allah. Even if they are difficult at times, even if misunderstandings arise, the wise woman chooses patience and gentleness. She understands that her treatment of her parents is not a reflection of their perfection, but a reflection of her faith. A soft word, a small gesture of service, or even a simple smile to parents carries weight in the sight of Allah greater than many voluntary acts of worship. Spousal relationships also require constant nurturing. Marriage is not a partnership free of challenges, but rather a journey that requires patience, forgiveness, and teamwork. A woman who strengthens her bond with her spouse does so not by demanding perfection, but by creating an environment of mercy. She knows that a single word of encouragement can uplift her spouse, while a harsh word can crush his spirit. She chooses to be a source of peace at home, creating a sanctuary where love, trust, and respect flourish. This does not mean ignoring faults or suppressing one's needs, but approaching difficulties with wisdom, patience, and communication. A strong marital bond reflects itself in the stability of the entire household. Children, too, are a trust from Allah. Strengthening bonds with them means more than providing food, clothing, and shelter. It means giving them time, attention, and love. It means listening to their fears, celebrating their successes, and guiding them gently when they make mistakes. A mother's words and actions carve deep imprints in the hearts of her children, shaping the people they become. Harshness may create obedience, but kindness creates love, and love creates lasting influence. A woman who strengthens her relationship with her children invests in the future, because those children will carry forward the values she instilled in them long after she is gone. Family bonds extend beyond the immediate household. Islam teaches us the importance of maintaining ties with relatives, even those who may not always reciprocate. Reaching out to siblings, checking on uncles and aunts, and maintaining contact with extended family members keeps the fabric of kinship alive. Sometimes these relationships are strained, and reaching out may feel thankless. But the one who maintains ties for the sake of Allah is rewarded immensely, even if others do not respond in kind. Choosing to rise above pride, to forgive, and to reconnect is a sign of true strength and faith. Strengthening family bonds requires effort, because families are made of human beings, and human beings are imperfect. There will always be misunderstandings, differences, and conflicts. The easy path is to give up, to withdraw, to let resentment build. The woman who chooses the harder path, the path of forgiveness, patience, and reconciliation, earns the pleasure of Allah. She understands that mending a broken bond is more valuable than winning an argument, and that humility in family matters often brings greater peace than pride ever could. Time is one of the most valuable gifts you can give your family. In the rush of life, many people neglect the simple act of being present. A meal shared together, a walk, a heartfelt conversation, these small moments strengthen bonds far more than expensive gifts or grand gestures. Children will not remember the toys you bought as much as the moments you spent with them. Parents will not always need material support as much as they need your presence and respect. A spouse will not always require luxuries as much as they need your understanding and companionship. Time invested in family is time invested in love and legacy. The woman who strengthens family ties also strengthens society. Families are the building blocks of communities. When families are fractured, societies crumble. When families are strong, societies flourish. A woman who creates harmony in her home indirectly spreads peace in her community, because a home filled with love produces individuals who walk out into the world with kindness and stability. A role may seem hidden within the walls of her home, but its impact extends far beyond. It is also important to remember that strengthening family bonds begins with intention. If done purely for worldly recognition, the results may fade. But if done with the intention of pleasing Allah, every act of love, patience, and kindness becomes an act of worship. Helping your mother, supporting your husband, teaching your child, forgiving your sibling, all of it turns into deeds that will shine on the day of judgment. This mindset transforms ordinary family life into extraordinary acts of devotion. At the end of the day, family is one of the few constants we have in a world full of uncertainty. Friends may come and go, wealth may increase or decrease, status may rise or fall, but family remains. Strengthening these bonds ensures that you have a support system in this world and immense reward in the next. A woman who values and nurtures her family leaves behind a legacy that continues to benefit her even after her departure from this world. So make it a daily habit to reach out, to forgive, to serve, and to love your family. Guard your tongue from harshness, soften your heart against pride, and open your hands to service. Remember that the strongest women are not those who dominate their families, but those who build them with compassion, patience, and wisdom. A woman who strengthens family bonds strengthens her faith, and a woman who strengthens her faith secures her place in paradise. Gratitude is the key that unlocks contentment, and positivity is the lens that allows you to see beauty even in difficulty. A grateful heart is one that is never empty, and a positive outlook is one that is never defeated. Together, gratitude and positivity create a shield that protects the believer from despair, jealousy, and bitterness. When a woman masters this habit, she finds herself walking through life with lightness, because she sees blessings where others see burdens, and she finds hope where others see only darkness. Gratitude begins with recognizing the countless favors of Allah that surround us every moment. From the breath you take to the roof over your head, from the food on your plate to the ability to walk and speak, every detail of your life is a gift. Many people overlook these blessings because they are so constant, but losing even one of them would cause immense hardship. The grateful woman trains herself to pause and acknowledge, saying Alhamdulillah not only with her tongue but with her heart. She thanks Allah when she wakes, when she eats, when she sees her family safe, and even when she faces challenges, because she knows that every situation carries wisdom. Positivity is not about denying hardship or pretending life is perfect. It is about choosing how to respond to what life brings. Difficulties are a part of every human experience. No one is free from trials, but the difference lies in perspective. One person sees a setback and says, "My life is ruined," while another sees the same setback and says, "Perhaps Allah is guiding me to something better." The reality of the situation does not change, but the interpretation changes everything. Positivity transforms obstacles into opportunities for growth, pain into patience, and delays into divine timing. A woman who lives with gratitude and positivity becomes a source of comfort for those around her. She does not complain excessively, spreading heaviness into the hearts of her family. Instead, she uplifts them with reminders of blessings and possibilities. When her children feel discouraged, she points out their strengths. When her spouse feels overwhelmed, she reassures with hope. When her friends face challenges, she offers words of encouragement instead of pity. Her presence becomes refreshing because people feel lighter and more hopeful after spending time with her. Gratitude also heals envy, one of the most destructive diseases of the heart. Envy creeps in when you focus on what others have and forget what you have been given. Social media has made this disease even more common, as people constantly compare themselves to curated images of others' lives. While the grateful woman protects herself from envy by focusing on her own blessings. She reminds herself that what Allah has given her is tailored for her, and what He has withheld is also part of His wisdom. She learns to say, Alhamdulillah for what I have, and may Allah bless others in what they have. Such a mindset fills her heart with peace, because she is not in competition with anyone. Positivity also strengthens patience. When a trial comes, it is easy to fall into despair and ask, why me? But the woman who sees through the lens of positivity says, there must be a reason. Allah is testing me because He loves me, and He will bring me out stronger. This mindset does not erase the pain, but it makes it bearable. It gives meaning to suffering and transforms hardship into a path of purification. Such a woman does not crumble under pressure. She stands firm, knowing that every trial is temporary, but the reward for patience is eternal. Loving with gratitude and positivity also enhances worship. When you are grateful, your prayer is filled with love rather than just duty. When you are positive, your supplications are filled with hope rather than despair. A woman who prays with a grateful heart prays differently. Her words carry warmth, her tears carry sweetness, and her connection with Allah feels alive. Gratitude and positivity turn rituals into moments of intimacy with the divine, because she approaches her Lord not with complaints alone, but with appreciation and trust. This habit also impacts health and well-being, since confirms that gratitude and positivity reduce stress, improve relationships, and even strengthen the body. But long before modern research, I have already emphasized this truth. A grateful woman smiles more, complains less, and finds joy in simple things. Her positivity keeps her mind at ease, her heart at rest, and her body resilient. She becomes radiant not because of external beauty, but because her inner peace shines through her actions and words. Gratitude is also shown through action. It is not enough to say Alhamdulillah while wasting blessings. True gratitude means using what Allah gave you in a way that pleases Him. If He gave you knowledge, you share it. If He gave you wealth, you spend it wisely. If He gave you health, you use it to serve. Every blessing becomes a tool for worship when it is used correctly. This act of gratitude not only preserves blessings but increases them, because Allah promises that those who are grateful will be given even more. Positivity, too, is expressed in how you treat others. A positive woman spreads good expectations about people, gives them the benefit of the doubt, and encourages them to rise instead of condemning them for their faults. She sees potential where others see failure. This does not mean being naive or blind to reality, but it means choosing to highlight the good and nurture it. Such positivity builds stronger relationships and creates an atmosphere of trust and growth. At the core, gratitude and positivity are choices. They are not dependent on circumstances, but on perspective. A woman can have little yet feel rich if her heart is full of gratitude, and another can have everything yet feel empty if her heart is full of ingratitude. Likewise, one woman sees darkness in every situation, while another sees light even in difficulty. The circumstances may be the same, but the outcomes are worlds apart because of the mindset. So choose gratitude every morning, every evening, and every time your heart is tempted to complain. Choose positivity when trials come, when people disappoint you, and when plans fail. Train your heart to say Alhamdulillah in all conditions and to expect goodness from Allah no matter the situation. A woman who lives this way carries a peace that nothing can shake, and she inspires others to walk the same path. Such a woman finds beauty in the present, hope in the future, and joy in the remembrance of her Lord. Charity and kindness are two qualities that reflect the beauty of faith more than anything else. They are not limited to giving money or material possessions. They encompass every action, every word, and every intention that brings benefit to others. When a woman makes charity and kindness part of her daily habits, she elevates herself, she spreads light into the world, and she builds a legacy that remains long after she departs. Charity and kindness are not simply acts of goodness toward others, they are acts of worship toward Allah. For every smile, every gentle word, and every act of giving is recorded by Him. Many people think of charity only in terms of wealth, but charity is far greater. If you cannot give money, you can give your time. If you cannot give your time, you can give your energy. If you cannot give your energy, you can give your smile. The Prophet taught that even removing harm from the road is charity. That means charity is not measured by size or amount but by sincerity. A small act of kindness, done purely for Allah's sake, may weigh heavier on the scales than mountains of wealth given for show. The woman who embraces this truth knows that every day presents her with countless opportunities to give charity, no matter her circumstances. Kindness is a language that everyone understands, yet too many people withhold it. Some believe kindness makes them weak, but in reality, it makes them strong. It takes strength to hold back anger and replace it with gentleness. It takes strength to forgive when wronged, to encourage when others mock, to remain calm when provoked. A kind woman carries a heart that uplifts rather than breaks, heals rather than wounds, and inspires rather than discourages. Her kindness becomes a source of healing not only for others, but for herself, because giving kindness enriches the soul and brings inner peace. Charity also purifies wealth in the heart. When you give from what you love, you remove the grip of greed from your soul. You remind yourself that everything you own is a trust from Allah, and you are merely a caretaker. Giving in charity ensures that your wealth is not only a blessing for you but a blessing for others as well. Even if you feel you have little, giving a small portion with sincerity multiplies in reward. Allah does not look at the amount you give but at the sincerity behind it. A woman who gives from her little may surpass someone who gives abundantly but with pride or for recognition. Kindness in the home is one of the greatest forms of charity. Many people show kindness outside but neglect it within their own families. True charity begins with those closest to you. A kind word to your spouse, patience with your children, respect for your parents, these are acts of charity that carry immense reward. When a woman makes kindness her habit in the home, she creates a nurturing environment where love and respect thrive. Her children grow with warmth, her spouse feels supported, and her parents feel valued. Her charity is not measured in money but in the joy and harmony she spreads daily. Kindness also extends to those who cannot repay you. The poor, the orphan, the widow, the stranger, all of them are recipients of Allah's mercy through your hands. When you show kindness to the vulnerable, you align yourself with the very character that Allah loves. Sometimes a meal shared, a word of comfort, or a helping hand in hardship can change the entire direction of someone's life. You may forget the act, but they may remember it forever, and Allah records it eternally. The beauty of kindness is that it multiplies and act inspires another, and soon it spreads far beyond what you imagined. There is also charity in forgiveness. Holding grudges weighs down the heart, while letting go of resentment frees it. A woman who forgives not because others deserve it, but because she seeks Allah's reward practices one of the highest forms of charity. Her kindness is not limited to moments of ease but extends even to those who wrong her. Such strength may not be easy, but it reflects the nobility of character that Allah calls us toward. Forgiveness does not erase justice, but it replaces vengeance with compassion and transforms enemies into friends. Charity and kindness are habits that should not be occasional but daily. They are like drops of water that, when consistent, carve rivers of change. A single act may seem small, but repeated over time, it transforms hearts and societies. A woman who smiles at her neighbor, checks on the sick, shares food, helps her colleague, or teaches a child is practicing daily charity that leaves a mark on the world. She may not even realize how many lives she touches, but Allah knows, and Allah rewards. It is important to remember that charity and kindness are not for show. If you give to impress people or to gain recognition, the reward is lost. But if you give silently, purely for Allah's sake, your reward is secure with Him, even if no one else notices. True kindness does not need an audience. It is sincere whether seen or unseen. A woman who gives privately, who helps quietly, who smiles sincerely, holds a treasure that shines brighter than gold. Charity and kindness also return to the giver in unexpected ways. What you give comes back to you, often multiplied. A woman who gives wealth finds her provisions expanded. A woman who gives kindness finds her heart softened. A woman who helps others finds help when she needs it most. This cycle of giving and receiving is part of Allah's mercy. He never allows an act of charity to be wasted. Even if people do not acknowledge it, He acknowledges it, and He rewards it beyond measure. So make charity and kindness part of your daily life. Do not wait for special occasions or large opportunities. Every day, seek ways to give, to uplift, to forgive, to encourage. Train your tongue to speak kindly, your hands to give generously, and your heart to remain compassionate. Remember that true strength lies not in wealth or status, but in the ability to be a source of good for others. A woman who embraces charity and kindness leaves behind more than possessions. She leaves behind a legacy of love, mercy, and light. And that legacy will continue to shine for her in this world, in her grave, and in the eternal life to come. My beloved sisters, life is a journey, and every journey requires direction. These daily habits are not simply tasks to tick off a list, but pathways that lead us closer to Allah, to our true purpose, and to the peace every heart is searching for. Prayer anchors your soul, remembrance nourishes your heart, modesty protects your dignity, patience strengthens your spirit, knowledge enriches your mind. Family bonds root you in love, gratitude uplifts your perspective, and charity spreads light into the world. Each habit, practiced consistently, shapes you into a woman of strength, honor, and serenity. Remember, greatness is not built in a single day, it is built in small steps taken consistently, with sincerity. You do not need to be perfect, but you need to be committed. Even the smallest act, done purely for the sake of Allah, can weigh heavily on the scales of your good deeds. The world may not always recognize your efforts, but Allah does, and His recognition is all that matters. So, leave here today with a renewed intention to master these habits, not for worldly applause, but to become a woman whose heart is alive, whose home is peaceful, whose community is uplifted, and whose soul is prepared for the eternal meeting with her Lord. May Allah grant us the strength to live with faith, the wisdom to walk with dignity, and the patience to persevere until we reach the gardens of paradise.